Parish Shepherd beside. We're going to call the May 21st meeting of the Hamilton County Legislative Body to order at this time. First of all, I want to remind commissioners, please turn on your mics, and also to remind you that everything will be done off the board tonight because our computers are not working. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner Hahn to lead us in our prayer, please.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you now to praise you and to thank you for allowing us to have this freedom to come together to make decisions for our community and the people in it. And Father, now we go into a session somewhat contentious, and we ask God that you let calm, cool heads prevail, and that ultimately, whatever decisions are made will be for the glorifying of you and your kingdom. Go with each of us now, Father, for we ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Gordon, would you lead us please in our pledge?
Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Jeff Akers,
Present.
Chris Catchon,
Here.
Randy DeBoer,
Here.
Thomas Dowdy,
Here.
Tim Goins,
Here.
Bobby Hahn,
Here.
Tim Horner,
Here.
Joe Huntsman, Eileen Onwine, I'm here, Mike Minnick, Wayne NeSmith,
Here.
Howard Shipley,
Here.
Jim Staff,
Here.
Tyler Ward.
Here.
12 present voters.
We do have a quorum present. At this time, the chair will recognize Chairman Jim Stepp of the Calendar and Rules Committee.
Thank you, Chairman. Item 2A, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar items.
You have a motion to approve the consent calendar item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Hahn. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is approved.
Item 2B, making approval of the regular calendar items with the addition of the add to the Personnel Committee report, amendments to employees handbook passed by the committee on May the 11th of 2020, and to delete from Justice Center Project Committee a moratorium to spending for Justice Center Project failed to pass committee on May 11th, 2020.
You put that in form of motion. We have a motion. Do we have Commissioner Goins seconds the motion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is approved.
That's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Stepp. At this time, we're going to receive public comments concerning items that are on the agenda only. If you're here tonight to address the zoning changes, either for or against, that are on the agenda, I ask that you refrain from making your comments until we have the open public hearing on that item. Okay? So we have people who would like to address the commission concerning items that are on the agenda. Please come to the podium, state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Excuse me, sorry. Hello, my name's Edna Green. I live at 4981 Cameron Road, Morristown, Tennessee. Dear Commissioners, I'm shocked that that you are considering the $75 million jail and related items this time. I know we need a jail. The late Doug Jarvis said we could build a basic jail for $35 to $40 million. We don't need a fancy justice center to go with it. The $35 to $40 million jail solution has blown into a $75 million wish list. We are true conservatives. I hope that you folks are. Most of you say you are. I'd like to see you walk the walk instead of just talking it. You could spend $5 million on renovating the current Justice Center instead of the $20 million on a new jail, it's not rocket science, folks. It's just good old-fashioned common sense. Listen to the sheriff, who is in charge of running the jail, who has said publicly that the multi-story, 4-elevator jail design that you are ready to vote in is more expensive to build, more expensive to staff than a 1-story jail. The sheriff and his people are there every day. They know more about this than every one of us does. And if every one of you don't believe that, I wish you'd stick your hand up. The jail, a 1-level jail, would be safer for the inmates as well as the staff. I don't have children that work there, but it's a danger that should be considered. And every one of you that have worked in the justice system should be aware of this, and you should not be willing to push this over on your fellow man. It's not saying much for you. Please stop and look at the other designs and costs. Let's renovate the Justice Center instead of building a new one. I'm sure the buildings can be used. It's not wasteful. Please get answers as far as the staffing cost before you continue with the current design. Please think of the people and the industries that pay the bulk of property taxes in Hamilton County. You're talking about business as well as people. And we pay enough tax, okay? The economy right now is not in shape for this. Please stop and consider other options other than a $75 million jail. Counties similar to us with the jail problems aren't spending $75 million. We have schools, roads, and other needs that are going to be needing addressed as well. So this is not going to be your only project this year. Build a basic 1-level jail or a multitude 1-level pods and renovate the current Justice Center. Thank you for the opportunity. You've listened to me, and most of you've shut your heads, which is more than I got from my county commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Deborah Stevens. I'm in the 12th District. Bobby Hahn is my commissioner. I talked to him last night. First of all, I want to go on the record to say if there is one taxpayer that's standing outside tonight that couldn't get a seat in here, this is wrong. There's other places that you could have moved this meeting to accommodate every taxpayer and still been safe, still went by CDC guidelines. I've called several of these commissioners, one of which hung up on me 3 times, and he's a family member that wouldn't even just talk to me about the stuff that's going on here. Secondly, we just got a 25% tax increase on our property taxes. You add this $75 million Justice Center, you add this community center. I want to know how all of you all feel when you set people out on the street and make them homeless. We have senior citizens that don't draw but $800 a month, and they can't afford it anymore. It's taxpayers, just one stacking right on top of another. You got a sheriff that you're putting in office that's been voted in that's told you no, don't do it. But his expertise does not mean one iota to some of you all.
Amen.
I want y'all to know it's going to be a day of reckoning. I know there's 2 of you that's not coming back, it's not going to run. But I want you to know we got tennis shoes on out here, and we're going to hit the streets, whether it's our districts or not. We're going to stop this. We're going to take back this county because it don't belong to just you all individually. You better look around, you better look out them windows, and you better hope there ain't some sunshine law lawsuits apply to this meeting right here. Thank you all.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Darrell Arborg, live on Elder Road in Morristown. All of y'all know exactly how I feel about this jail. You got the man sitting right there who you should be listening to. He's the expert on it. When I don't agree with that man, I spoke against it. But in this case, I fully agree with that man. He has got a good plan for a jail. It's going to save the taxpayers money. It's going to be beneficial to the county in the long run. I sat up here in a meeting and I watched 3 judges come up here and justify why they need this new Justice Center. Well, in March, I went over to see it for myself, this crowd. People standing in the hallways, lined up. Judge took the bench, and the first thing he said is, we gotta get pictures, show the commission just how crowded this is, why we need it. Then he proceeded to call the roll, and all these people, hey, grand jury didn't get to your case, come back later. Grand jury didn't get to your case, come back later. 30 minutes later, that courtroom had empty seats all over it, and all the people in the hallway was gone. The problem's not the size of your courtroom, the problem is logistics. You got a very competent court clerk over here. Let her do some scheduling, give her some authority. Let her work out the logistics and not have everybody show up at one time, because of course you're gonna have a huge crowd then. Let her do some work in there. Let her do her job. You won't need bigger courtrooms. You won't need another justice center. You've got plenty of what you already have, some simple renovations. Keep the costs down. You can have a very efficient jail like the sheriff is trying to tell you. And a lot of people out here, besides the people in here, are listening to that man. He's got more respect than any elected official in this county. And you may not see a lot of people come in here doing it, but there's a lot of talk out there about it. And just like the lady before me just said, there's going to come a day of reckoning for a lot of y'all if you push this boondoggle through.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Dennis Oxendine, 2385 Sulphur Springs Road. This is my first county commissioner meeting, but before brought to my attention about the jail, $75 million, I'm pretty sure that this plan was set in place before the COVID-19 hit our economy. And I'm pretty sure everybody right now is panicking. Everybody right now is trying to make sure the ends meet. So right now, wouldn't it be smart to save money? Wouldn't it be smart to invest in school? Because school is right around the corner. If we can't stop from flu getting in our schools and we have to cancel schools, why not invest in something that's going to make sure it's safer? So how do we do that? We cut back. If the sheriff's already come with a better idea that's going to save the county money, then why not listen to that and pour back into what's important? Because if we mess around and don't invest into our children and our school systems, then we're going to be right back in the same position that we was before. So right now the economy is rough. I'm pretty sure the $75 million, it sounded good before the COVID-19 hit, but things have changed. But what hasn't changed is the mindset. In order to solidify the future, we must invest in the present. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
I don't want a jail. I don't want a jail. That's all I got to say about that. But I got something else here I want to talk about. I want to ask you to remove and reject approval of the March 19 check for $40,500 made out to the Joint Economic Community Development Board. That'll save you some money. The city-county interlocal agreement in effect in the summer of 2019 limits the Joint Economic Board's budget to the loss of providing notice of meetings, maybe $1,000, and cost of meeting space is zero. Because of the limit on the Joint Board's budget, the county was never responsible or required to pay $91,000 to that board. As a taxpayer, and I went to the meetings and I know what went on. As a taxpayer, I demand that you remove the check for $40,500 to the Joint Economic Board from the checks to be approved today. Approval of a check for $40,500 to an entity that is only entitled to have a budget for $1,000 or so is an illegal expenditure based on false and fraudulent conduct by the board.
Thank you for the comment. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Sir.
Charles Cook, 1006 Overlook Drive. Now, let's talk about business and taxes, okay? Now, Who pays the bulk of taxes in this county? Industry and businesses, right? So let's be smart about things. When these industries goes out here and makes a contract, they don't take into account these high property tax increases and stuff that's going up. Okay? Now, we've already lost a bunch of jobs due to this, but most of y'all don't know that, and it's not being covered in the paper, but there's been other jobs leaving Morristown and Hamilton County, going out of the country for a cheaper labor rate. Now you're going to go and add more cost to them. And our industrial board, who, if I'm not mistaken, you all in the budget give probably $90,000 to, our industrial board has turned into a retail board. All we can get here now is Food Cities and Walmarts. Van Who was supposed to be in operation at the end of the first quarter of this year. They haven't even broke ground out there yet. Wonder why? Because we have silly mayors and silly city councils and ridiculous county commissioners wasting taxpayer dollars on stuff like this. You go out here and see a government building and it looks all nice and fine. Go look at the new EMS buildings or the fire department, volunteer fire halls, and see what they look like when you got to work for it and get it yourself. You're wasting money on things that don't need to be wasted on. We may need a new jail. Build one at a reasonable price. You're killing jobs.
Amen.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
My name is Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I respectfully ask that the County Commission table items B, D, and E on the jail committee. We need a new jail, but we do not need what I heard someone call the Hamlin Hilton with a new Justice Center and a price tag of $75 million. We certainly don't need a multi-story jail, which the initial corrections consultants warned against due to the dangers inherent in the event of fire, flood, riot, or other incidents. We don't need a new Justice Center at all. Our Justice Center hasn't been condemned or, ruled that it's not usable. We do need to totally renovate the Justice Center. And I think that might be somebody's plan, but they don't want to do it as a Justice Center. They want to keep that little bit of information back and then use it later. Oh, guess what? We just decided we'll renovate the Justice Center. Do it now. These votes should be delayed until the budget process is clear and our revenue status is determined. There's no rush to this. You've been looking at this for 10 years. We've been decertified for 10 years. The primary reason there should be a 60 to 90 day delay is to give the sheriff an opportunity to present the jail committee with his one-level wagon wheel design. In all the time that this jail committee has met, I have never, and correct me if I'm wrong, perhaps the sheriff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I have never seen a full presentation in a public meeting of the jail committee of the sheriff's proposal for a wagon wheel design, which common sense tells you is safer, it's less expensive, and the biggest problem, the biggest advantage is it requires less staff. You can build a new jail, but the corrections officers will not come. We can't even staff the current jail. May I have your attention? Please stop the reckless spending, table the votes on additional jail contracts and spending, set a jail committee meeting, and let the sheriff who runs the jail give you a presentation. Give it a chance. If you don't like it, then perhaps the people can understand, but you don't even allow it to be
Thank you,
presented.
Ms. Noe, your time is up.
That's the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Scott Cutshaw. I'm 1336 Brookfield Drive. Reason I'm up here today is, you know, in this jail, everybody's talking about what we need and all that. But the reason I proposed a different place for the Justice Center and the jail up on 25E was to let everybody have a little skin in the game. We're building a Justice Center where you're going to have a few elites, I apologize, but that's our attorneys and our government workers, to have a new ball field to play in. And we, the taxpayers, are going to pay for it.
Amen.
But now, if you moved that up there on 25E, you'd have a new economic growth. You'd have attorneys who'd be moving up there closer. And you'd have new business that would be moving in there around the new Justice Center and jail. Now, it's been said that the people in that area don't want it. I went up there and talked with them. I've not heard any one of them that said that they didn't want it up there. But I had a few of them said they'd truly welcome it to try to clean up that corner right there where the little drug motels are sitting. Now, to sit here, we're going to be on the hook for $75 million for a building right over here, and we're paying $1 million for 2.5 acres right here. You can buy 11.5 acres on 25E for $550,000. You can build any building you want to build up there, still save money, and being under the number of what you spend. Best thing you can do with that piece of property right over there is pave it and give Road Center over here a little bit more parking. You're building a hole, building right back in the same hole that in '78, everybody in the county complained about it being in the hole in the first place. And y'all building another one right beside of it. We need to use a little bit of common sense. The economic growth up there on 25E, right there behind the old VFW, you'll have a new growth, new tax base, and you'll bring in more taxes from that right there, as opposed to dead cost and dead weight on the taxpayers of Hamlin County. Let's do something for the county, create growth for the county, as opposed to spending millions of dollars to take care of an elite few to have a new playing field, and they make millions out of that Justice Center. But it's not going to cost them a dime for it. We, the taxpayers, have to pay for it. That's why I run for county commission. Let's all share this. Not just put it on the backs of the taxpayers and put it on the backs of our industry. Think about it. If you built that building up there, you'd have all that commercial building down through, land down through there full of commercial attorney buildings.
Thank you.
And different
That's all
businesses.
your time is up. Appreciate your comments. Anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
Anybody outside?
Good evening, my name is Teresa Archer. I live on 1502 Allen Road in Talbot, District 13. How many of you all have ever run a jail? Jeff, have you?
You have to address your comments, ma'am, to me, not.
Have you ever ran a jail, Mr.
I'm not
Shipley?
going to answer any questions because the rules forbid me from answering your questions right now.
Oh, okay, well, it's not a
You make
problem
your
in other
comments
counties.
to.
Well, since none of you all know how to run a jail, why can you not listen to the man we elected? That will be his job, and you all want to give him a 4-story building that he can't even staff, but you want to raise my taxes. I don't think any of you all can afford for your property taxes to be raised either. So the question is, you need to listen to this man, as he will be the one that has to deal with it for the next 2 years, and then probably the 4 after that. You know, you can't just drop a bomb out here and raise taxes for something that is frivolous. pure frivolous. And then you turn around, you can't renovate the Justice Center now to turn into the courtrooms that you may need. Why not renovate this beautiful building? If you schedule your court cases correctly and let the clerks have reign over that, you can utilize people at different times. You know, we're paying judges that are maybe come in twice a month and they're sitting at home. I'm not saying they're not working, but if they're gonna work from home, why do they need new courtrooms? They can work more than 2 days or 3 days a month if we're gonna build them all that right there. So you just really need to listen to your sheriff unless you all wanna run against him and take over his job. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission? The sheriff requests permission to address us.
I feel like it's time that I come forth again, once again, to let everyone know where my stand is on this situation. In 2015, Mayor Britton, Rick Eldridge, Captain Laws, and I attended the seminar in Colorado College, planning for a new institution. We were told to build with plenty of space for expansion, never build up, and to build out. It costs us more to build up instead of out. Elevators and stairways are very costly. The yearly payroll will almost triple for a 4-story building. A ground level jail requires less jailers and less maintenance that would save millions of tax dollars yearly. A 4-story jail requires the minimum of 128 employees. The current jail requires 56 employees minimum. We work understaffed daily with 43 to 45 employees. Study shows that when a new jail is built, 1/3 of the employees will not make the transition. Those numbers need to be incorporated on the people you're going to have to hire. It is difficult to hire when you have few, if any, applications on file. Based on my responsibilities and my experience of operating your jail for 13 years, building a 4-story jail on 2.3 acres is not the best ideal. A few months ago, Mayor Britton, Chief Mize, Captain Laws, many of you all, and myself went around the county on a rainy Saturday morning and visited several pieces of property. They ranged from 4 to 16 acres. Many sites were vacant fields with limited cost for site preparation and room for expansion when needed. The following week, when the potential building sites were proposed to vote on, the result was 12-2 to build on the 2.3 acres next to the old jail. I voiced my objection at that time once again. I stopped attending the jail study meetings because I seen that my suggestions, my comments, my opinions were falling on deaf ears. Homes had to be purchased and families had to relocate from this 2.3 acres over there. These citizens had a long history of living and raising their families at these home sites. The beautiful national recognized Rose Center and many restored historical homes will be extremely compromised by a jail that sits directly across the street. Your job is making the decision in the best interest of the voters that elected you. That's your job. Present-day parking is a nightmare at the Justice Center. When construction starts with your new jail, with heavy machinery,
No, you can finish. Go ahead. You go ahead.
I'm just about finished.
Let's go, I'm sorry.
Pardon?
I'm sorry.
With heavy machinery, hundreds of construction workers and their vehicles, one can only hope that you have a plan of action for us to take care of everyday business over there. I am Esco Jarnagin, I'm your sheriff, and I oppose your decision to build your 4-story jail on 2.3 acres next to the old jail. But I will commend you, it's a beautiful building.
Thank you, Jarnagin. At this time, we're going to recess this body and reconvene as a public hearing to consider zoning changes located on Virgie Road. We have a request to change the zoning of this property from A1 to C1. Do we have anyone present who wishes to address this body either for or against this zoning change? Anyone? Seeing none then, we will close the public hearing and reconvene as the Hamilton County Legislative Body. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion regarding changing the zoning request on Virgie Road from A1 to C1.
I'll make a motion that we do.
Bobby Hahn has moved. Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is approved. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar. Commissioner Gahn has moved. Commissioner Hahn has seconded that we approve the consent calendar. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion is approved. At this time, Chairman Randy DeVore of the Finance Committee is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 8A, the approval of the monthly checks for March of 2020. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion to approve the checks. Is there a second?
Second.
Tim Horner seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor, let it be known by saying. Huh? Let's go ahead and do a roll call. We'll do a roll call, please, on finance items.
Yes.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw, Randy DeVore,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Aye.
Howard Shipley,
Aye.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Item 8B, monthly checks for April of 2020. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Goins seconds the motion. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw, Randy DeVore,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins, Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward. 12 yes, 0 no.
The motion is approved.
Item 8C, the annual debt report for fiscal year ending June 30th of 2020. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by who? Tim Horner. Any discussion? Hearing none then, roll call, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
I'm sorry,
Aye.
Randy DeVore,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Bonnie didn't come
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8D, 2020 Homeland Security Grant. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Chris Cutshaw seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeVore,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
8E, bid tabulation for 2021 tandem axle chassis dump truck body, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Question.
We have a second by James Stepp.
Question.
Okay, sir.
This truck was wrecked in 2019. It was a single cab dump truck. In committee, it was voted that we wouldn't fix the truck, that we buy a new one for $174,000. What this is boiled down to, we had a single axle, and now we've got a double axle. We're upgrading our fleet. And I thought we was gonna try to save some money in this budget, but this is $174,000. We still got the dump truck. You can still get it fixed for $44,000 according to what Barry gave me that he could fix it for, and maybe less. So do we want to spend $44,000 to get that truck fixed, or we want to spend another $174,000 to buy a new truck to upgrade our county fleet?
Anyone else? Commissioner Hall.
Mr. Poole, question to you. I didn't realize this till just now. There's a single axle that was wrecked, and this other one will be a tandem. Yes. All right. Do we need that?
We've got one tandem now, Bob, Commissioner Holm, and it's being utilized a whole lot more efficiently. We can haul double the load, save us on the trips.
Okay.
And we just found out it's a whole lot more advantage than the single axle.
So in essence, then, even though it's gonna cost more money, it'll kind of save us money. We got a chance to do that at this point.
That's correct.
Okay. So you suggest the twin axle?
Yes, sir.
And could you expand on the length of service you expect? I mean, we've got $73,000 back from the accident
Yes.
for this purchase of this truck. So it's basically a $100,000 investment for how many years?
It'll last at least 20 years. We've got a 2005 Sterling single axle that we run every day. And it's not the quality truck that we're talking about this Mack is. We've got several Macks that or 2 or 3 Macks that in 5 or 6 years' time, we spent about $200 on. That's how good a truck they've been for us. I can't promise you this one will be that good, but we've got 2 or 3 for evidence that says it's going to be.
Any more discussion?
Discussion. Also brought up, correct, that truck that we do try to restore, if we get it back, is there a warranty on it?
No.
There's no warranty, so it's our truck. So if we miss anything, the county taxpayer pays for it.
Any more discussion?
Any more discussion? On that deal, if you wreck your pickup truck and you get a body shop to fix it, he don't give you a warranty either. So warranties are out of question. But this truck you've got, it belongs to us, and we've got the money to get it fixed. And if you vote to buy a new one to upgrade your fleet, are you gonna try to fix that other truck? That was in the paper that we may go down the stream, we may try to fix that.
I think it'd be best to try to sell it out, see what we can get for it. There's a lot of risk involved. If you fix it, it's a wrecked truck, a train hit it, there's no telling what was damaged. Most of it, I'm sure, can be seen, but there could be some things that are not seen, even while they're working on it to try to fix it. It could be a money pit. We could have to spend a lot of money down the road on it. We might not spend any, it's a guess. But we know we've got a warranty with a new truck, and days of service mean a lot to us. We don't need for truck to be sitting in the shop. We need them to be out where the work's going on. And when you have to fix trucks, you're spending good money after bad, because they're getting worn out. And this truck's, you know, I just think it's a real chance if you try to repair it and start using it every day.
I was just looking at it where this truck's like a 2008 or 9, 10 or 11 year old, and we don't have a little over 200,000 miles on it.
Any more discussion? Call the roll, please.
Jeff Akard,
No.
Chris Bradshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Jim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
No.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
No.
with 3 noes and 9 yes.
The motion is approved.
Item 8F, Resolution 2018, a resolution of the County Commission of Hamlin County, Tennessee, authorizing the 2020 Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Fund Grant application. And I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thomas Doty seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Jim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
and Taylor Ward.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
The motion is approved.
Item 8G, Resolution 2019, resolution of the Hamlin County Commission in Tennessee for authorizing of the 2020 Mental Health Transportation Grant. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Thomas Doty seconds the motion. Any questions or discussion? If not, call the roll.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins, Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
The motion is approved.
Item 8H, Resolution 2020, a resolution of the County Commission of Hamlin County, Tennessee, authorizing the 2020 Bulletproof Vest Grant application. And I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Chris Cutshaw seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim
Aye.
Goins. Sorry,
Aye.
wait a minute. Let's see. Thomas Doty,
Yes.
don't do me like that, Jim.
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yeah.
12 yes, 0 no.
The motion is approved.
Item 8I, renewal of the Hamlin County Sheriff's Department slip and mooring lease agreement with Hamlin County Marina LLC. I put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote, call the roll, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw, Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner, Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J1, Hamlin County Department of Education, budget amendment number 5, increase of $25,000, and that's with no added maintenance of effort. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, who's second? Taylor Ward. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, then, let's vote the motion.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Abstain.
Tim Horner,
Abstain.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Staff,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
Yep.
2 abstain, 10 yes.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J2, trustee's office for $4,000, and that was additional part-time, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Bobby Hahn. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw, Randy DeBoard,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Staff,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J3, Fund 101, Election Commission for $1,837.02, and that's from a 2019 state computer grant, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second from who?
Me, Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. We're sorry about that.
It's all right.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, then let's vote the motion.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoard,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Staff,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
Yep.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J4, Fund 122 for the drug fund at $27,500, and that's for the purchase of a truck, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Chris Cutshaw seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoard,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Tim, he said yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Staff,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J5, Fund 101, Circuit Court, $60. It's a refund from Teresa West Spring Meeting, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote the motion.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoard,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Staff,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
Taylor.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J6, Fund 101 for jail, $60,000 in maintenance and supply, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Akers seconds the motion. Any discussion? Let's vote the motion, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoard,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armline,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Staff,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J7, Fund 151 for debts, General Debt Service Fund for $213,500, and that's for interest expense, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Tim Goins seconds the motion. Any discussion?
Question, how long was that good for, Bill?
What?
The interest rate, what does that cover to?
It's for the 30 years of the bond issue.
mean, we get one every 6 months or
Every 6 months.
every 6 months.
Any more discussion? Go to motion, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Vaughn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Alan Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yep.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J8, Fund 101, Parks and Fair Boards, $2,241.63 for water and sewer, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Tim Horner. Any discussion?
Question, why do you have sewer, Randy? What you got that for sewer for? You got septic tanks up there. And that new building.
It is my understanding that it's collective, one collective bill, is that correct, Bill?
Yeah, it's not for a sewer fee, it's for water. And then in the chart of accounts that applies to our accounting, it says water and sewer. That's why it's down here. It's reimbursement of the water bill from Hamlin Marina.
It's just for water then.
Correct.
Any more discussion? Go to motion, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw, Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Vaughn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Alan Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Bill, where's that water come from? What's the carrier on it? Marshall Utilities?
Marshall Utilities.
The motion is approved.
Item 8J9, Fund 101 for courtroom security, $2,800, and that's for, is that accrued leave? Anyway, courtroom security, $2,800, put it in the form of a motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Me, again.
Are you second?
Yeah, I'm second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote to motion, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw, Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Vaughn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Alan Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yep.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J10 for Sheriff's Department, $35,925. That's for insurance payment on a used patrol car. Put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Chris Cutshaw seconds the motion. Any discussion? Let's vote to motion, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Vaughn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Alan Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yep.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J11, Fund 101, Veteran Services for $375, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion? Let's vote to motion, please.
Jeff Akers,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins, Bobby Vaughn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Alan Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
Yep.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J12 for Cherokee Park, $3,000 for overtime expense, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by James Step. Okay. Any discussion? Let's vote the motion.
Jeff Akard,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw, Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion is approved.
Item 8J13, Fund 101, contracts with government agencies for $38,800, and that's for a TDEC grant, and I'll put it in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Goins seconds the motion. Any discussion? Let's vote the motion then.
Jeff Akard,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
12 yes, 0
The
no.
motion is approved.
Item 8J14, Fund 101, employee benefits for $50,000, I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Bobby Hahn seconds the motion. Any discussion? Vote the motion, please.
Jeff Akard,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the motion is approved. Thank you, Commissioner DeBoer. This time, the chair will recognize Thomas Doty, Chairman of the Personnel Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 9A is approval of amendments to the employee handbook, and I put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion? Vote the motion, please.
Jeff Akard,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw, Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
The motion is approved.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Doty. At this time, the chair will recognize Chairman Goins of the Public Service Committee.
Thank you, Chairman. Item 9A, surplus of duplicate books, publications, miscellaneous items from the archive. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by
Jeff.
Jeff, okay. For some reason, I'm not getting.
Oh, I don't know. I can hear that.
Sorry about that. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is approved.
Thank you. 9B, surplus of the 2014 Dodge Ram 1500 pickup truck. The last four of the bid number is 8859. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Item 9C, surplus of 2011 Dodge Grand Caravan, bid number last four is 5494, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Bobby Hahn seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is approved.
Item 9D, surplus of 2005 Chevy Tahoe, the last four of the bid is 5335, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is approved.
Item 9E, surplus of 1988 EK 22-foot CO Sounder boat and trailer,
I put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion then, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is approved.
Item 9F, requested for donation between the Hamilton County government and Walter State Community College for bulletproof vest, and I put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Taylor Ward seconds the motion. Any discussion?
Question,
Yes.
this is surplus? These vests are surplus?
Not over there?
Are you wanting to, I think you want to give these used vests to Walter State College?
That's what the motion states here, that they're donated to Walter State.
Are these vests any good?
They're for training purposes only. They're our retired vest, and Walter State will just be using them as in their training.
For training?
Yes, for training only.
Okay.
Any other
I
discussion?
didn't know if they're gonna stick them on and go out and work a lot or not.
If not, then, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is approved.
Chairman, that's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Chairman Goins. At this time, the chair will recognize Chairman Tim Horner of the Jail Justice Center Project Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 10B, contract with the architect for the health property development, and I'll put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
James Stepp seconds the motion. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Jeff Akard,
No.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins.
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
No.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Alan Hornwine,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
No.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yep.
3 noes, 9 yes.
The motion is approved.
Item 10C, construction management services proposals, and this is to reject all bids, and I'll put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thomas Doty seconds the motion. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Jeff Akard,
No.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
No.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Alan Hornwine,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
No.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
No.
4 noes, 8 yes.
The motion is approved.
Item 10D, to authorize Mosley Architects to start construction drawing phase of the design, and I'll put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second to the
I'll
motion?
second.
James Stepp seconds the motion. Any discussion? Commissioner Hahn?
I represent the 12th district, and I have had a tremendous amount of people that are expressing, slow down, take a breath, let's see what we're doing. I know, when I first took office, everybody said, let's go with it on the jail. But we're at a point where I'm getting like, Sheriff, you had a proposal, I wasn't privy to a lot of the details, and I would like, for one, to see those. I'd like to see a presentation on the design you're talking about, and I didn't get to go, where was it, Coffee County? I didn't get to go to Coffee County, and so I missed that trip, and I don't, the thing I'm concerned about as much as anything, is some disinformation or misinformation that the public's getting, and I'm trying my best to my ability to inform it. $75 million is for a lot more than just a jail justice center, okay? A lot of people don't understand that, but still it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be a considerable tax increase. I think one of the things that I'm looking at now, what is just being brought to light, is a minimum of 128 folks to staff what we're building. And that's going to be over $5 million per year. Now, that's on our back forever, and it will only increase. So my suggestion, and I will even make it as a proposal, that we let the sheriff step in, if he will, and show us his design, give us some, if you got cost figures or anything, staffing figures.
With all due respect, that wagon wheel has been beat to death, and it's just, it went no place, so I just backed down. My time is too valuable to waste.
Sheriff? Can I address, how long would it take you maybe to come up with a proposal?
It's not rocket science.
Well, it may not be, but
It's
yeah,
a
we.
wagon
we
wheel
need to-
concept. I'm not an architect. It's a wagon wheel concept where you got like hallways that you're looking down. You got a control tower on the hub, and you're looking down the spokes, so to speak, and it's a half moon effect. It's not complete, but you can have about 4 or 5 hallways, and you can put about 400 inmates on one of those half spokes and put 400 on the other backside. You got 800, and it's a very minimum of the employees that you have to have.
There's pros and cons in both, and I understand that, but I'm asking, see, one of my thoughts was that you have the opportunity to bring this. Present it, so we'd have a comparison. I mean, right now, we don't have this all went into place by the previous commission when the land was bought, and we thought it saved the county money because we stayed right there. Joe Jarvis was our chairman, he was leading that pack. That's where we start. And because of that, the design was to the land. It's never been against you. And I'm with Bobby. I need some answers. I'm not against the sheriff of Hamilton County and what he wants. I'm not. I will never stand opposed. You are the professional. You're the man in charge. But yet, we have been backed in a corner. A letter from you on the first month I was here. We need a jail. By that directive, we've been moving forward. And this is a tough decision. We get it, people. We understand. It's money. We're building something if we stay where we're at for less than 5 cents on $100. But like Bobby said, because of employee cost, which, the new jail, wherever we built, Commissioner Aker wanted 700 beds. We didn't vote for that. Since then, he's not been for us. That's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. We're up to 600 beds. It's a jail that I think we can be proud of, but yet I'm willing to look if you can come up with something for us.
The county commissioner more or less shut me down when I realized that I was being stonewalled, that they was going to put the jail on the 3.2 acres over there if it had their city costs. That was going to take place, okay? So that is not the proper place to try to put a wagon spoke. Only thing you can do is go up.
I understand, and that's what I mean.
At that point, I knew that I was following my opinions. Anything else I had was falling on deaf ears. I don't have any problem with anybody in here. I don't mean to sound hostile, but my time is too valuable to waste if you're not going to listen to me. And it's like going to the doctor. The doctor tell you what to do. If you don't do it, don't complain if you have more elements affecting the body farther down the road. Because this is going to be a nightmare just on the construction alone over there. You can't hardly move on grand jury day over there. And to build on 3.2 acres, and you have to build 4 stories. Now, when we went to Colorado, I went under objection. I didn't want to go to Colorado, but they couldn't have the meeting unless the sheriff was involved. Common sense. So I went out there with Mayor Britton, Chairman at the time, Rick Eldridge, Captain Laws, and myself. We went out to Colorado for a week, and they taught us how to build a jail, how to reach out to the community. And 3 of the big points they brought out was, and I read it to you, is to always build out, never build up, and build with plenty of space in mind. Now, when we started thinking about, when you all, the county commissioner, I'm not calling an individual, but when the county commissioner decided they're going to build that 3.2 acres with 4 or 5 houses there, they had to purchase those houses. They had to pay to have them tore down. Then there was landlocked. So to fix that problem, they could jump across Allison Street and start buying up more property at a premium price. And they got all those buildings. Now they're going to have to pay to have them torn down and excavation and everything else. And then they're going to end up with roughly about 7 acres. And that's going to be landlocked. And then the sheriff's department, and I don't care, I'm glad we staying in the old building. I'm glad to be there. That basically may be my home. That may be where Macy's come and gets me, or Stoverfield, or whoever willing to come and get me. That may be why I died. I know that will please some people, may offend some people. But I don't know what the future holds, but that's been my home for 13 going on 14 years. I know the lay of the land. And the lay of the land is not to put that jail on 3.2 acres when you've got many other options out here that you can go with that's really, really a lot cheaper. And I don't know why we are so tunnel vision to put it on that 3.2 acres.
I hear you. There are pros and cons, though. If we move it, do we not have to move everything because of transportation? I mean, you know, we're trying to weigh it all out. Everything has to move because of transportation. If we don't move the Justice Center as well, some suggested not building that. I'm just saying, if we move, doesn't it, I mean, the cost will not change that much, will it? If you build 700, 600 beds out or build up, you may lose some. I'm trying to reason, Sheriff, that's all. I want to hear your plan. Mr. Hong, I wouldn't care to wait if you can present a plan to us.
Think about it. We visited, many of the county commissioners in here visited other agencies. We visited Hawkins County, I think Rome County, Coffee County, different places, different places we visited. And as I know it, the ones I visited had one level. And they were very satisfied, very content. And when we went to Coffee County, I went up in the tower, and there's 2 people working, guarding about, I don't know, hundreds of inmates, because they could see everything going on. They was up above it, they could see down, they could see out. I only took 2 employees.
Commissioner Ward.
Well, we've got the man sitting up here that knows more about jail than anybody that's ever been on this commission. And to have him up here and just turn a deaf ear to him is absolutely ridiculous. We need to listen to him. We need to go back and take another look at this. And they say, oh, we don't have time, we don't have time. If we don't have time to save the taxpayers some money and protect our county a little bit better than we're trying to do, we don't need to be sitting in these seats up here.
Okay, thank you.
Let me share one point. And I have talked about this over and over and over and over. People, listen to me. We cannot staff your jail if you build it. We can't staff the one that we have. We have 53 positions. Listen to me. We have 53 positions. We are 8 to 10 employees short every day over there. It's a safety violation. It's a hazard to work in that jail. We can't staff a 4-story jail. If you don't take anything else from this meeting, remember, Sheriff Jarnagin said, when I say we, I'm talking about the taxpayers, we can't staff. And if we could staff it, it's going to be almost triple into the millions of dollars just to pay the salary of the employees.
I have one question. Did you
You've already had plenty of time, and he'd like to have a little bit of time, please.
Sheriff, just to clarify this.
If you don't care, pull your mask down.
Sorry, sir. Just to clarify, can you safely and efficiently transport prisoners from a site at 25E to this Justice Center for court on a daily basis, safely and efficiently?
I think you're missing the point.
No, sir, I'm just asking. They're wanting us to build a separate jail and then renovate this Justice Center.
No,
I'm just asking, can we do that?
I'm just a center up.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
The commissioner, you had an opportunity, Mr. Cutshaw, to make your comments.
Wait a minute.
I'm not talking about you. Mr. Cutshaw back there is interfering with the meeting.
I appreciate it, that he's misspeaking what I said.
Mr. Cutshaw, there's other people that have said it, not you, that have brought that up.
Now, let me share something with you. When we visited these other jails, how many went and visited the other jails? If you don't care, hold your hands up. It's a nice visit we had, and it was very cooperative, but was not all of their functions within that one building?
So
That's what I'm saying, we need to move everything up there.
Except Coffee County. And Coffee County told us very clearly up front, the biggest mistake they made was not having courtrooms in their facility.
Sheriff, my point on this is when it's brought before this commission on almost a monthly basis and brought up, it is said to do the jail the sheriff wants and then renovate this justice center, don't build a justice center with it. That was not your idea, sir. I'm trying to get that point across.
No, that was not my idea. No, that's not a workable solution. No.
That's the point I want to get across, because that's brought up almost every month when it's brought up, when you're not here to contradict. But you're
Well,
saying
like I
that we
said,
need to have it all together.
I have my personal reasons for not being here.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, the concept of leaving us in the old jail is fine with me. And that was cost effective to build a beautiful building that the architect's gonna be proud of, but the taxpayer's gonna be burdened with.
And that goes to my next question. Mayor Britton, with our debt service fund at where it is now, and that is a tax base already coming in to pay off loans that we have, will we have to raise taxes just to build the jail that we have right now planned?
If you coupled the Justice Center and the schools and the classrooms combined together, 4 to 5 cents.
4 to 5 cents, just to build. This is not gonna be all this 75 million in raised taxes. We have a large debt service fund already set up going into that. It won't be a tax raise to build.
We have a large capacity. We paid off a lot of our debt. I mean, we have very little debt before we issued the 20 million.
Yes.
And so we have a great deal of capacity to issue more debt and pay it without additional revenue.
That's what I was wanting to get.
So,
without raising taxes, we can borrow a lot more money.
To fund the Justice Center and West High School both together, it would be 4 to 5 cents on the tax.
And with the interest rates now and the market rate on construction costs, isn't there a good possibility that we can save a lot of money that could be used to for operation costs?
Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay. Any other commissioner who hasn't had the opportunity to speak?
This, they've got a lot of comments about the jail. We couldn't put this on a hold for 2 months and explore what we've got. Take a look at it. Bobby's got questions. Chris got questions. Moore's got questions about it. Esco's got big questions about it. And look into some of this other stuff. I know.
Well, if we did that, you're going to have to amend the motion that's on the floor right now. Otherwise we're still dealing with the same motion. You got to amend the motion.
Well, I'll make a motion, I amend the motion and put it on hold for 60 days.
Okay? What?
I need a second on that.
Okay, that's the very same thing that on the moratorium, but that was dealt with in a different meeting. It didn't pass the committee meeting, so I think we probably could entertain that motion. So Commissioner NeSmith has moved that we put this project on hold for how many days?
60 days.
60 days. Commissioner Ward seconds the motion. Now, is there any discussion about the amendment to put the project on hold for 60 days? Yes.
My discussion is, if we were going to do that, what are we doing? Are we just sitting around waiting? Are we going to get a proposal? Are we going to hear an objective here.
That's a good point. We'll have to,
You know, before we can do that, we gotta have some directive to hear maybe from the sheriff or somebody, if that's what the case be.
Let me make a comment. When we went out on the Saturday morning, I don't know if you were with.
yeah, I was with you.
It was
I
raining,
got ran
it
over
was
by
chilly,
a truck that
and we
day.
was getting wet, we looked at different
car.
sites, and, we came back, and it was pretty much rumored to me that, they just, what they were gonna build at was over here on 3.2 acres. And, I presented my protest at that time. I said, that's not the best location that we can build it. So they went ahead and bought the property. They tore it down, the houses. A lot of money spent there. And I said, you landlocked. You only got 3.2 acres. You landlocked. So once again, instead of stopping and listening to me, they go across Allison Street and buy got 7 or 8 buildings down through there. So, you know, it's not because I didn't make an outcry, but no one listened.
No, that's not true.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying no one listened. All of this happened before you new guys got on board, okay? I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming anybody for what we are today, except I voiced my opinion. No one listened to me, and that is your prerogative. You don't have to listen to me, okay? I'm not mad at anybody in here, but don't get mad at me for voicing my opinion.
No, I'm not mad. I want to hear you. That's what I'm trying to give you, is an opportunity to platform what you want. That's what I'm asking you to do. If you can do that, then we can maybe.
let me also make a comment here regarding the 25 location.
Yes, sir.
One location that most of the commissioners favored. I represent that district, and I've had people who talk to me who flatly out said, we do not want that jail in our back door. I mean, they were clear about that. You know, we looked at another site on Morse Boulevard, and we had people a quarter of a mile away who said they did not want the jail in their back door. But besides the point, there's opposition on that one side on 25. Now, another thing that we haven't, I've not heard much discussion about would be locate somewhere else. You're going to have to spend money on preparing the site, utilities, water, sewer, and all of it. And that's not going to come cheap. These people are not going to install that for us. Another thing that we considered was the traffic flow on 25. You're not going to get a traffic light at 25. I mean, on 25, they spent almost $20-some million taking 2 traffic lights out in front of Walmart and Walter State. Those were things that we considered. When this side over here had all of that, the utilities was there. It was all there, you said. But, you know, I just wanted to point that out. Commissioner Armline, you recognized.
I was going to say, because I'm new to all this, but the county owns that property, that 3.2 acres already, am I correct?
Yes.
They do now.
They do now, that's what I'm saying. We can't change what's happened before. We gotta look forward now. We already own that property. We've spent lots of money right there.
Good point.
Mayor, real quick, can you give us a guesstimate?
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Can you give us a guesstimate real quick about how much we have spent so far in this jail?
No, not to be, I mean, if you gave me a little bit of time, I could.
Yeah. I just believe, I fought this tooth and foot when it started. We don't need to build there. We don't need to build there. We bought so much over there, and we can make it work over there. We can make it work over there. We spent a lot of money over there. We need to continue on the path that we're on and continue going. Because the fact is, we're going to start all over. We have kicked this thing down the road so many times, longer than I've been on the commission. That's been 10 years. And I'm tired of kicking this thing. We need to move, get something done. Because the fact is, the longer we wait, the more people hang themselves or kill themselves or beat people or whatever in this jail and doing nothing but lawsuits. We need to move on. We need to move forward. Now we're talking about, let's put it on hold, let's kick it down the road a little more. Guys, we're going the wrong way. We're going the wrong way.
Commissioner,
Mr. Chairman, I want to mention to Commissioner Cutshaw, you know, I was for 700 plus beds, but I've never been for this location at 510 Allison Street. And with what the sheriff has mentioned, the 25E location, which a lot of people call more like soybean farm, was an excellent location. And it just, I strongly feel that had we went that route, one level, we would have saved the taxpayers a lot of money. And I've had a lot of my constituents contact me, and they, you know, they're concerned about their tax dollars, kind of like Commissioner Hall had mentioned earlier. And that's one of the reasons why I've been against doing this at 510 Allison Street.
okay, thank you. Do you have any other commissioners who have not addressed the commission? Yes.
If I remember correctly, we said earlier we took a vote. We took your top 3 votes, am I correct? We took the top 3 and tallied those votes, am I correct? Now, at the moment, earlier in front of the Justice Center, I said, whichever one wins the vote, we all stand behind it. Everybody agreed. Now who's jumping ship? Mr. Goins is correct. We've spent a lot of money to go with this. It will work. No, we're not. It's not rocket science. But it will work. And I don't know why anybody want to jump ship now when you sit right over there and said, we're all in this together. Whichever one wins, that's one we go with. Financially, we can't move it at 25. Logistically, the transport back and forth from city, I've had some city officers tell me, listen, it makes sense to have it right here. It makes sense to have it right here next to City Hall, to pay paperwork back and forth. I mean, it's just, the logistics of it's right here is where it needs to be. Now, out there at Buffalo Trail, you know, Tim we were strong for out there at Buffalo Trail, the old Food City building. But you're right, it takes a lot of money to infrastructure for anything like that.
Do we have any other commissioners who haven't already expressed their opinion who wish to do so?
Problem, they're saying why they voted for it and all that. I was for putting it over here. I was putting it over here where we were gonna be able to use our annexes and use part of our jail, but now we can't use none of that. If I had to vote again, I would never go over where we plan on putting it.
And if we build this infrastructure that it'll take at any other location, what is the projected cost of that infrastructure? What is the cost on 25? What's the cost? Pick a spot. What's the time frame it's going to take to get the community to accept it in their backyard, no matter which community it is? We have infrastructure here. We're looking at saving with what we've already spent on and invested in. Why would we want to go out and recreate the expense?
We have a motion, or a motion to amend to put this project on hold for 60 days. And we have a motion, and it's been seconded. Call the roll, please.
Jeff Akers?
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw? Chris?
I'm thinking. I wasn't through discussing.
I'm sorry.
Yes. I'll hold, yes.
Randy DeBoer?
No.
Thomas Doughty?
Yes.
Tim Goins?
No.
Bobby Hahn?
Yes.
Tim Horner?
No.
Eileen Harmwine?
No.
Wayne NeSmith?
Yes.
Howard Shipley?
No.
Jim Stepp?
No.
Taylor Ward?
Yes.
6 yes, 6 no.
The motion fails for lack of a majority. All right, we're back to the original motion dealing with the let's see, we're on item D,
10D.
10D. All right, we're back to the original motion, authorizing Mosley Architects to start construction drawing phase of design. We have a motion and we have a second.
I'll second.
Sir? We have a motion and a second.
You already have it.
Okay. Any more discussion on the original motion? Call the roll.
Jeff Akers,
No.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
No.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Staff,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
No.
3 noes, 9 yes.
The motion is approved.
Item 10E, issue the RFQ for construction oversight services. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Tim Goins seconds the motion. Any discussion?
Question,
Yes.
what's this require, Bill? What are we gonna ask for?
We don't know yet. We've got to put the RFQ together.
Gotta put it,
That's the first step.
this is just to put it together.
To put it together and then issue it and bring the candidates back to you guys. That was the motion out of committee.
So we're going ahead and bid it out, is that right?
Yes. Well, not bid it out. We'll issue a request for folks who want to do the work and have the qualifications to submit an application. And then we'll bring those applications to you to interview.
That's the one you're trying to get for 75 or 80,000
Correct.
a year.
Correct.
Somebody local.
We gotta find out what his requirement,
Correct.
what his qualifications are.
Yes. Yes.
Any question?
Any more discussion?
Can I ask the mayor a question?
Yes.
How much money do we have tied up with Mosley up to date?
I don't
He
know.
doesn't know anything.
Honestly, I don't know. Counting all 3 phases, I don't know. We're in phase 3 right now. First phase was the study. The second phase was the, site, third phase was design. And we're in third phase right now, the whole design. I don't know, Taylor, I can't answer your question. I can, if you call me tomorrow, I'll have that.
Remind me of going.
Any more discussion?
Should we get that sent to us, Bill, like, let us know what, instead of waiting for 3 or 4 weeks to find out?
On the RFQ, on what?
On what Taylor asked, what it's going, what the fees, how much.
Oh, he wants to know how much money.
How much we've spent to this, so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, how much we spent so
I
far.
can do that, sure.
On land and building.
Now, Taylor just wanted to know about Mosley. So what are you asking me, Wayne? Taylor just wanted to know about the architect.
I'm asking how much have we spent over that 2.8 acres, how much we spent over on the lawyers, a couple of lawyers' houses, how much, anything else, the 911, have we traded for it yet? Have we traded for the paint store yet? How much we've got tied up over here at the Hale House? How much money we out
Okay,
right now?
he says he can send that to you,
You can send that.
to all of us. Okay, thank you. Any more discussion? Call the roll.
Jeff Akers,
No.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Armstrong,
Yes.
Wayne NeSmith,
No,
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Staff,
Yes.
Taylor Ward,
No.
3 to 9.
The motion is approved.
All I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Horner. At this time, we're going to entertain public comments, and Mr. Steve Lawrence has submitted a request to speak, so
He's going for his
comes
5
first.
minutes.
He's got 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Steve Lawrence. I live at 2585 Mountain View Drive, Morristown. I teach government at Walter State. I'm here because I'm concerned about people unknowingly transmitting the COVID-19 virus to others, particularly in retail businesses. And so therefore I drafted, as purely a suggestion, and I think you have a copy that's been given to you, a possible joint resolution. Proposal being that this be jointly between the commission and the city council, stating the position of both bodies to require the use of cloth masks by both retail employees and all customers. So you have a copy in front of you in the respect for time. I'll summarize. The first page basically says the president and the governor of Tennessee declared public health emergencies. It then goes on to say the CDC and WHO issued guidelines, which the president on April 3rd supported, which urged Americans to use cloth face coverings during trips to the grocery store and other public outings. Therefore, on page 2, there are 3 statements which I would hope that the body would discuss and possibly take action on or come up with a creative approach to this. 1, Hamilton County and the City of Morristown hereby declare that all retail businesses that allow customers on their premises shall require all their employees to correctly wear an appropriate cloth face covering while conducting normal business. The second then is the balance to that. Hamilton County and the City of Morristown declare that all retail businesses that allow customers on their premise shall require all customers to correctly wear an appropriate cloth face covering before entering the premise and while shopping or conducting normal business. Third point, businesses affected by these rules shall establish systems that restrict in-person contact as much as possible and ensure that all employees and customers comply with these rules regarding wearing of appropriate face coverings in an effort intended to slow the spread of the novel coronavirus. I want to add something that just 2 days ago to talk about businesses that are doing a good job. I took one of our dogs to Morristown Animal Hospital. They have a wonderful system. You make an appointment, call from the parking lot and say, I'm here. They come out, they say, you're welcome to come in if you have a mask. They take your temperature, they give you hand sanitizer, they do have masks available, and they take one dog at a time into the treatment room. They're doing a wonderful job. They are working hard. They've had families who've given them feedback, both positive and negative. But as I say, and what's the purpose of this discussion, I'm wearing a mask not to protect myself, but to protect you. And you're going to go home and maybe see a grandchild or maybe see somebody down the block. And I don't want to be the one spreading that virus. So I'm certainly open to answering questions. I ask you to consider this or come up with a way to encourage people to stay healthy during this epidemic. Are there any questions? I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Lawrence. Anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
My name's Edna Green again. Thank you folks, this part of the boat. It's not the cost of building. One of the costs is going to be staffing. And 128 people is a whole lot more than 53. And I think most of you looked at what it costs now for the 53 a year. You're looking at triple cost. And that's just for wages. That doesn't count benefits, folks. And you tell me a property tax increase is not going to hit because of the staffing? You just need to take another look.
Sorry.
No more government mandates on businesses and stuff like that. This is getting out of hand.
Amen.
And everybody says, well, if it saves just one life. Well, if you believe that, and if the governor believed it, and the president would believe it, the interstates would be down to 20 mile an hour tomorrow, and everybody in the car would be wearing a 4-quart harness and a helmet.
Amen.
Leave the businesses alone. They've already heard enough. People, a lot of these restaurants have been shut down. Mom and pop businesses. If you're scared, stay at home. Jeez.
There are with our road in Morristown. Wasn't planning on getting back up here, but just heard something that I thought I have to address. The President urged people to wear a mask. The government can ask, the government can urge. You don't give orders, kings give orders. In the United States, we have one king and he sits on a throne in heaven. We don't have a king sitting in Washington, D.C. We don't have one sitting in Nashville, and we sure don't have one sitting in Hamilton County.
Anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I appreciate the fact that many of you almost got a 60-day moratorium. That was all that was asked, to give you time to get the information, what you've already spent. I can't believe you don't already know that or have that information. To find out about the staffing study. You all haven't been given that staffing study. Some of you acquired it through a lot of effort, but you didn't get it from the mayor's office. And you've been asking for that for 6 or 7 or 8 months, since October. But you're going on, again, with step 3, 4, 5, approve this contract, buy that, and you don't even know the staffing, other than what you've been told by some people who actually care enough to get the information. You also, Chairman Shipley, you just violated the 10-day rule again with number D and E, the 2 items you voted. That was in a committee on May 14th, jail committee, that Mr. Horner chairs. And you didn't amend, you didn't put it on the agenda, you just stuck it on the agenda, and again, violated your own rules. What does it take? But the big thing, again, is secret meetings, your one-on-one meetings, and then the 10-day rule, we violate that. The sheriff tells you, I cannot staff this 4-story or 3-story jail. How much time do I have, please?
1 minute and 10 seconds.
Thank you. You cannot staff it. Why do you build something you cannot staff? Now, I've been for putting it over there, and you've got room to expand some. Hopefully the state will eventually start building the prisons they ought to build, instead of having Hamilton County build a little regional prison for them. But you've got space over there. You can do a 1-level jail that the sheriff would have a chance of staffing. Or you can build a 4 or 3-level prison jail over there that he can't staff. Why would you do that? Tell me, why would you do that? Mr. Doty kept worrying about tax increase for the costs of building. That's not where the big tax increase is going to come. It's going to come when you try to staff. Have a jail committee meeting, Mr. Warner, and let's let the sheriff or let Mr. NeSmith present the Coffee County proposal and what it costs them. And let's find out what we can staff. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Maureen
Melissa Ballou, 3728 Halifax Circle. My question is, why was Mosley hired out of Virginia, who is a part of the United Nations Green Council? Why not have hired a local architect? And why are we already in phase 3 and nothing's still decided? There's still conflict all over town. Nobody's happy. And we're tired of rules and being led like kings. We left England for a reason. Although Morristown seems to be trying to put us back right under the EU, right down to Van Hool and EU partnership.
Anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Commissioners, you have 3 announcements that you can read for yourself. You have in your packet a calendar of budget meetings. Be sure to put those on your calendar, and we'll start those Tuesday, June the 2nd at 5 p.m. here in this courtroom. We stand adjourned.